Don't say his name. That's the message hidden inside a Roblox game that otherwise looks completely normal. The other day, I found some footage on an old laptop where a player named Freakboy19 jumped through a generic obby. The recording showed your usual oversaturated colors and random obstacles. Nothing unusual until the end. He stops, stares at this monochrome figure that doesn't belong, and says something that's been redacted. The recording glitches, and suddenly, Freakboy19 is somewhere completely different. It's monochrome, silent, and wrong. All of a sudden, he hides behind a wall, almost as if he's scared of that figure, and repeats, "Don't say his name. Don't keep going. He wants you to. Stop while you can." This is very strange, because hidden in the game's description are capital letters that spell out that exact same message. Someone put that message there as a warning that Freakboy19 didn't follow, because whatever happens when you say his name clearly already happened to him, and I intend to find out what. Since that was the last recording of this game on that laptop, I decided to take a look for myself. At the end of the obby is that same monochrome figure, just with the name tag that reads Watson, CEO of MIG. Typing out his name will teleport you into a monochrome subliminal office, suspended in the middle of a void. Waiting there is the man himself. He greets you immediately. He knows your player name, but not just that. Somehow he knows everything you've done up to this point. And what's more, this talk he gives you feels rehearsed, like you're not the first person he's done this with.
You have questions, and I could give you answers. But before that, I need your help.
He wants you to monitor a few of his employees to find out why they're unfocused, distracted, and lost. Peeks into their lives are scattered across the obby, hidden behind anomalies that you're meant to piece together. And to make things easier, he gives you something you shouldn't have. Access to a modified menu that broadens what you can see. It's a tool that exists outside of the game itself, and its mere existence raises a bigger question. If Watson already has the tools to search his employees, if he already knows everything, why does he need you? Rather, why does he want you to learn about their stories? And more importantly, Freakboy19's recording already warned us about this. What does Watson get by having us learn about his employees? Matter of fact, how does he even know who we are? There's no clear answer, and that alone should be enough to stop. But for me, it isn't. I need to know what happened to Freakboy19, and if there are any leads, they're most likely buried inside the people he wants us to watch. And the traces of one of them are just before the end of stage 21, a suffocated head sinking into acid. When you step onto it, you're not in the obby anymore. You're inside a scientist's last attempt to fix something that shouldn't have happened. Something clearly went wrong here. The papers scattered across the room identify the ragged, tired employee here as Dr. Barbara Heafton, a scientist tasked with studying a miraculous healing anomaly MIG didn't fully understand: dark leeches. The reports all describe the same thing: corpses that, when exposed, don't stay dead. Not revived nor healed, but occupied and puppeteered by the dark leeches, learning how to use what's left. But out of everything she documented, one case stood out. Patient 0 was previously peaceful hospice caretaker Luke Warren, who died of heart failure. His corpse remained non-moving until it was exposed to the leeches, at which point, Barbara documented the following. His head was bandaged at first, but that didn't last long. The wrapping split from the inside, and now there's a gaping mouth where his face used to be, full of sharp, jagged teeth that never stop gnashing. Whatever's in that room, it isn't Luke anymore. It isn't human. It's some sort of parasite using his body as a host, always hungry. I'm trying to figure out a way to terminate Patient 0, but I think it already knows, and I think it's waiting. Whatever these leeches do, they don't let anything stay dead, and unless there's a miracle cure, this was never something Barbara could fix. After all, how do you kill something that's already dead?
You don't have to explain yourself. I understand why you're here. Curiosity. It tends to lead people places.
Curiosity. I skipped over that earlier since it wasn't directly relevant. but I shouldn't have. Because that's what got us here. It's what makes you decode that message in the description. It's what makes you say his name. And it's what keeps you motivated to find out more about his employees. The exact thing Freakboy19 warned us not to do. The funny thing is, I know he's playing me. But he's right. I am curious. And at this point, I don't think that's a coincidence anymore. But for Freakboy19, no, my brother, I can't just stop here. I have to understand the story, starting with these leeches. And if what we saw with Barbara is any indication, the leeches don't just affect the dead. The next employee we find proves it in the worst way possible. The hospital room here is a step above Barbara's, but not by much. It's quieter and certainly more clean, but something about it feels worse. The papers scattered across the floor aren't just disorganized, they're frantic. Like someone was rifling through them for a miracle that wasn't there. And at the center of it all is the employee responsible, Dr. Percy Lopez. Based on those papers, he was a medical doctor who dedicated his life to helping others, no matter the cost. And judging by the state he's in, that cost has already been paid. He's injured, exhausted, and barely holding himself together. Whatever happened before this didn't just leave that injury on his head. It stayed with him internally. That's what makes this situation dangerous. Percy isn't like Barbara. He isn't just studying the dark leeches. It's like he's trying to use them to fix something. The deep ocean stuff these leeches are made of, umbrafluix, it's not natural. On paper, it can restore damaged tissue and maybe even reverse death itself. But we've already seen what actually happens. It doesn't heal, it occupies and replaces. Percy rationally knows this. He's seen the tests, but knowing something doesn't stop it from happening. Not when rationale can easily be overwhelmed by guilt. And that's what keeps you going. What keeps you wanting to learn more about these employees? If not the answers behind umbrafluix, then the emotional hook of Percy's guilt, and the chance that he just might be able to fix it all.
This place reminds you of the past, and you still come here.
I need to fix it.
Does it still leave you? You know you won't do anything.
You're not real.
But I will never leave. Nothing can make you forget. If it wasn't your fault, then why do you still let it haunt you? You never answer that. You know why.
I never wanted this.
Then why do you still wear the robe?
I have to fix this.
Still here, Doctor? It's a beautiful night, Doctor. Come with me. Look at the stars.
We've seen that entity before, with Barbara, right after she reread Patient Zero's file, right when the pressure started getting to her. And now it's here again, which means this isn't random. It shows up when something starts to fracture, when guilt may turn into something more useful. And Watson knew exactly what to do to induce those conditions. Why else direct Percy's attention to the stars? It was enough. All of that guilt, compounded, was enough to force Percy to extremely desperate measures. The letter he's written, in tandem with that open medicine box, indicates as much. Obsessed with reversing the transformation, Percy haphazardly concocted a last-minute cure using none other than umbrafluix. The open medicine box indicates that he's already injected himself with it. Who else would there be to test it on? In his mind, it'll be fine. Another employee, Miriam, was exposed to it in small doses, and she recovered extraordinarily well. So maybe, just maybe, he will too. But the black sludge left behind in stage 24 foretells a different story, because umbrafluix hasn't been shown to respond to logic. It responds to something else, and Percy may have exactly what it needs to evolve. And with such a crazy possibility, how could you heed Freakboy19's warning? How could you stop yourself from trying to figure out if Percy's gamble is going to pay off? I know I couldn't. The underwater laboratory here is significantly different. It's cleaner and controlled, which, considering it's completely surrounded by umbrafluix, really isn't to be expected. Perhaps it's due to the employee here, who moves with purpose, only recording notes and inspecting umbrafluix files. She looks normal, which feels wrong, and for good reason. Because the moment you open the menu, that image starts to make too much sense. She's whole, together, still herself, but also completely consumed by black, with the tendrils radiating outward as they quietly grow beneath her surface. Not replacing her, not distorting her, just settling in. Miriam here, unlike the others, hasn't been broken, and that's why the Umbra Fluix worked so well on her.
Did you ever question our procedures? Would you still be loyal if nobody was watching? Exactly. You've always been a great employee, Miriam. Have you noticed any changes recently? There is nothing left to do but to sit back and watch.
There's no resistance, no doubts, no morals to break, only alignment for the cause. And that, despite the great activities MIG has done, is what gave Miriam an opportunity to be part of the plan. But of what plan, exactly? I think I get it now. This isn't the first time Watson has done something like this. He builds a story, something you want to see through to the end, and then just leaves it there, unfinished, once again playing on our curiosity to keep us going. Exactly what Freakboy 19 told us to avoid.
You've taken it this far already. Let me tell you something. Something I can only tell someone I trust.
What a coincidental interruption, but it is genuinely interesting. Umbra Fluix doesn't just change the body, it responds. Not to logic, not to intent, but to feeling. In someone like Miriam, it stabilizes, heals, and preserves. But to someone like Percy, someone already cracking, it spreads and consumes. Everything we've seen so far with Barbie and Percy wasn't failure, it was selection. Watson observed them and pushed them beyond their limits just to set a plan in motion. And if he was willing to do that to them, how far would he be willing to go with us? At any point, we could stop, close the game, and walk away. But he's predicting that we won't, that we can't, not when we're this close to figuring out what happened here. And that's the problem. He's right.
Good, very good. Seen them all, did you? Rather, most of them, at least. But I digress.
Watson welcomes you back warmly but briefly. He sounds pleased, mostly, like this was expected, like this was the only possible outcome. And before there's even time to respond, he moves on, giving not necessarily guidance, but directions. He didn't say it directly, but his message is clear. We're not done here. He's induced a change in the obby that he wants you to follow. It's not drastic nor tangible enough to notice at first, but that's only at first. The further you travel, the darker your surroundings become, as if coated in Umbra Fluix black. Level 24 most directly embodies this. The IV bags, once filled with the shining hope, are now bloated with the dark, sludgy Umbra Fluix. Coming back here doesn't feel like retracing her steps. It feels like continuing something. Something that didn't start with us. Something he's making sure we don't walk away from early. If there's a hallway here, Percy isn't seeing it. His vision is drowned in a desperate red, thick and suffocating. And beneath his bandage, within his bloodstream, something is spreading. It was slow at first, but unyielding, always moving. So he keeps moving. He has to. That's the only thing he has left. A voice stops him. It's familiar. Too familiar. Almost exactly like him. But not quite. It knows. It knows everything. The guilt, the failure, the few things he couldn't fix. And it's right. He is. He has been for a long time. And after waiting for just the right fracture in his mind, it's ready to bloom. And so it blooms. Those tears were the last thing left of him. Proof that there was still something human there. Oh, is that my my chest. What the hell? I think I'm just gonna... No. I just need to know. I just need to know how this ends. Then I'll leave. Percy's body was overtaken by grotesque growths and hollowed eyes staring at nothing. Whatever is left of him has hopefully moved on. In the end, Dr. Percy Lopez got his wish. Anything and everything that comes his way will be fixed. They'll be engorged with the sweet healing nectar of umberfluix, whether they like it or not. But Percy wasn't the only one doomed to such a fate, and he certainly wasn't the worst of it, because Barbara already warned us that there was one case she couldn't stop, one that didn't just react, one that adapted. Patient Zero didn't stay contained. It learned, and then it left. By the time we returned to Barbara's room, everything's gone. Her files, reports, anything that could explain what happened here were taken before they could be destroyed. Because Patient Zero notwithstanding, she knew she couldn't stay. For right as Percy changed, right as Patient Zero escaped, something else went into motion. Something I need to understand through to the end, and it leads back to a place we've already seen. Miriam's calm demeanor stands in stark contrast to the alarms blaring throughout her lab. She stops her work, turns to the door, and leaves, right as planned. It doesn't take long. The reinforced glass doesn't shatter. It fractures in a single spot, and that's all it needs. Because umberfluix was never trying to break through all at once. It only ever needed a single opening. First through Patient Zero, then through Percy, and now through the glass. It spread, having filled the space Miriam left behind. And that's the point. There's no one left to stop it anymore. At this time, everyone remaining here is doomed, not to death, but to umberfluix's horrifying occupation. When the flooding subsided, there weren't any people left, just husks. Bodies repurposed and forced into whatever shape the umberfluix so desired. Mannequins. Whatever's left of these victims are still here, somewhere, endlessly repeating,
It hurts. It's moved. It is.
It sounds like they're talking about Watson, but he was never actually here. Not physically. He never needed to be. In lieu of him was David, the manager, the fourth and final employee. The one who tried to stop this before it started, but failed anyway. Every name, every face, gone, or worse. All for what? No, I'm done being your pawn. If this is how it's gonna be, I'm gonna make it hurt. Do you understand me? Say something, Watson.
What say fate? Despite their efforts, they were all useless. The four of them. The scientist was always deflecting the obvious. The doctor, he wasted his brilliance on sentiment. The engineer was all but a lost cause from the moment she walked inside this building. And the manager, oh the manager. In a blink of an eye, he found himself surrounded by a giant mass. Thousands of mannequins stared him down, soulless. They didn't absorb him, no. He didn't deserve to live any longer. And so, there he lays. Not even God could help him. And now, this far in, despite his vague warnings, not even God could save him.
And that's it. That's where Watson's story ends. It was good. It dragged me in. It's just, I feel like there's another reason I was here. A reason more important than the story. Right, the recordings, Freakboy 19. My brother. How could I have forgotten? How could I?
You did it. You completed it all and obtained every badge. And I couldn't be any more proud. But now, the game is over. Your badges, I'll hold on to them for you. To someone like myself, these hold great value. Dean.
Whoa, what? What the fuck?
But you're not finished, no. Far from it. Let me be clear, Dean. I was never truly able to get those myself, you see. I'm not a player like you are. Tell me, did you ever wonder what it meant that your vessel was discarded? There is but one last thing I need from you to finally make everything right. Now, hold still. God can't hear you from down here. What the?
Oh my god. Oh my god, I couldn't breathe. What the hell? What the actual hell? Does he know my name? Is that what happened to him? Is that what happened to my brother? The medical report. Asphyxiation, but with no physical trauma. It had to have been. And this game. This has to be it. It has to be. The rest of his recordings weren't shot through OBS. They were shot through the Roblox recorder because that was all he had. And they all came from here. He's in here, trapped in this single-player instance trying to communicate to us. He's been trying for... Oh my god. He only went into a coma a week ago. How the hell is this possible?